Hey everyone, Coach Kirsten here, and this is my race report and course review for the T100 triathlon. In the past, the T100 series was only available for professional triathletes, and this year they opened up a few of the races for age group athletes. So I decided to drive to Vegas and see what it was all about. So T100 is a 100-kilometer race. It consists of a 2K swim, a 80K bike, and a 18K run. So I chose this race because it was easy to drive to. It's in Las Vegas. It's in Henderson, actually. And it was on a weekend where I didn't have my daughter. So I decided drive to Vegas, do the race, and see what it was all about. So before the race, I have not done a lot of prep specifically for this race. I didn't really look at the race course, which I should have, because it was really, really hilly. And I did a really hilly race about 6 weeks before this race. But they were more like longer gradual hills, and these are all short, punchy hills. So the way the course is set up, it is in Lake Las Vegas. The swim is in Lake Las Vegas. It's 2K swim in the lake. And then the bike ride is 48 miles, and it's 4 12-mile loops. And it's all around Lake Las Vegas. It starts at the west end, and it's very hilly. So you're either biking up or down, but never flat at all. And then the run is 3 loops. It's 11.4 miles, and it's 3 loops of a run course through the golf course. So if you can imagine a golf course, very hilly, either up or down, no flat at all. So I didn't really prepare very well for this race. I've had a lot going on, and my training kind of got away from me, but I knew I'd be fine. I still have great fitness, and I knew I would be okay racing. So I got to Las Vegas on a Thursday. I lied. I drove to St. George on Thursday, stayed with my friends, Kristen and Tad. And then I drove to Las Vegas from their house in St. George on Friday. I was planning on car camping. So there's a campground about, I don't know how many miles, 5 miles away from the race. So I ended up car camping, which is something I like to do. I was trying to make the race as inexpensive as possible, although I did spend all that money I saved at Tacotarian, which is a vegan taco place that I ate at 2 days. Anyway, that's beside the point. We're not talking about food, we're talking about the race course. So I checked in on Friday, and check-in was at the West End. It was super easy. Like there were, I think there were only like 700 people doing the race. So it was really nice to have like a slightly smaller race. So I checked in. Our people always ask me about the swag. The bags are really nice. It's like a duffel backpack. We got a hat, we got a t-shirt, we got a water bottle, and then a really nice like the insulated mug thing. And so that was what was in the bag. And then after that, I actually went and swam. I work at Lifetime, and there's a Lifetime right in Henderson. So I swam and biked and did some recovery stuff, foam rolling, stretching, and stuff like that. And then I camped in my car that night, and then woke up the next morning, kind of did the same thing. I just went to the gym for a little bit, and then I checked in my bike on Saturday. So the way this race is set up is the pros race on Saturday, and then the age groupers race on Sunday. So you get to see the pro race. The women went off in the morning, and the men went in the afternoon, and you could also stream it, which I did from the gym. So I did not go and watch the race. It was really windy. It was kind of hot. I just didn't want to be on my feet all day, so I'd rather just chill at the gym. So I did that. But it was really cool watching the pro race, because knowing that, okay, we're going to be racing on this course the next day. So that was really cool. I ended up going to my campsite really early, and after eating my Tacotarian dinner, I actually went to bed. I was like relaxing at like 6 p.m. So I went to bed at 8 p.m. and didn't have to wake up until like 4:30. So I got a lot of sleep the night before, which is really awesome. For those of you who have done a big race, it's almost impossible to get a good night's sleep the night before, but I ended up getting a good night's sleep. So I drove to the race start. I had everything with me, so I thought, and ended up running into a girl I know. We kind of chit-chatted, hung out until the race started. So it's a wave start, and we were wave number 7. So we started like a half an hour or like 45 minutes after the first wave. I do not like wave starts, but whatever, it is what it is. So the way they did it, though, is there's a dock and you jump into the lake. So they had like one person jumping every like second. So you just like go across the timing mat, jump in and start swimming. The course was really well marked. It was really easy to see. It was one loop. The lake was a little bit choppy, but I feel like every lake is always choppy. I can't think of like one swim ever that was like super smooth. But the buoys were really easy to see. And the race was really, it felt really spread out because of the time trial start. So the swim felt really easy. My swim time, so my goal for so the transition from the swim to the bike was like a quarter mile. So it's kind of long. They had an option of putting shoes in a bag, and like they hung them on racks so you could run with shoes. I chose not to do that. And the majority of the transition from the lake to the transition area was all carpeted. So that was really, really nice. So they had the blue carpet down there. And in fact, the entire transition was carpeted. So each like row in between the bikes was carpeted and very well marked with a number on the ground, which I really like that. So I was on bike rack 8. So on the ground was a giant 8. So I could look for the 8 instead of, a lot of times at races, it says like, bikes or race number 1580 through 1321, and I'm like, I can't do math at this, when I'm out of breath. So anyway, I like that, and I like the carpet. So my goal for the swim/transition together was under 40 minutes. 40 minutes or like slightly under, and it was my swim was like 34 minutes, and my transition I think was like 4 minutes or 3 something. So overall under 40 minutes. So I'm super happy. It felt good. I felt really strong on the swim. It felt easy. The run up to transition wasn't as bad as I imagined it would be. Jumped on my bike. I was on my bike. So 4 loops, the bike course, all uphill or downhill. I drove the bike course on Friday when I first got in. I drove the bike course after I picked up my packet. So I knew what it was like. I knew it was going to be lots of hills, up, down, up, down. So my goal for the bike course plus transition 2 was 240. And I hadn't done this distance of a bike race before, and I'm pretty good on hills, so I figured that was a good goal. So I actually hit right at that. I think my bike was like 236 and my transition was like 2 or 3 minutes. So again, perfect. My nutrition, I was a little bit off. I felt like I was getting hungry, even though I drank my 3 bottles of my Infinite. So on course they had Morton products, so I got a bottle of the Morton drink, and I drank 1 pickle juice and had 2 Morton gels. So that's what I had on the bike, and so that seemed like a good amount of nutrition. So I get off the bike, and so I love that bike course. I just wasn't prepared for it. I felt like I felt really strong, and I actually, like, in looking back at the tracker, there's a race tracker, and you can see every part of the course, what place you're in. So I was first in my age group on the swim, and then the whole entire bike. So still after the bike and after transition, I was still first in my age group. I didn't know that at the time. This is in hindsight. But I felt really strong on the bike. And again, my bike plus my second transition was under 240, which was my goal. And so I actually felt really good heading out on the run. And I haven't been running very well, but 2 weekends ago I did a 5K and a half marathon back to back, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Both were outstanding, and it gave me a lot of confidence, so I was really ready to run. I haven't been running a lot of hills, but I'm really good on hills typically, so even though the course was really hilly, I was expecting to do pretty well. So I ran out of transition feeling strong, and immediately, like, one step onto the course outside of transition, my inner thigh started cramping a little bit, like just a little bit, like I better be careful. So I slowed down my run because I was kind of striding out. So I slowed down my run to have like smaller steps, and it did not go away. So I slowed down even more. It didn't go away. It was actually getting worse. And so I started walking, and it got to the point where I could barely walk. So I had 4 pickle juices with me, and I was going to take one every 3 miles. And I drank one and drank some of I had some Energize. It's like an electrolyte, but it's a pre-workout. So it's like a tiny bit of electrolytes, a little bit of sugar, and then caffeine. And so I drank some of that, started running again. The cramp didn't go away. So I started walking again, took another pickle juice. Anyway, in the first like 1 minute, I drank all 4 pickle juices, and I was like, well, I got to get rid of this cramp. It was like my whole top of my right leg at that point. And so I even stopped, stretched. Nothing was making it go away. I drank my whole bottle of stuff I was carrying. And at the aid station, I took 2 gels, which I didn't know this at the time, but the gels and the drink mix at the aid stations only had sodium in it. They didn't have any other electrolytes. So I thought, I just kept taking them thinking it would help, and nothing helped. So after my 4 pickle juices, my whole bottle of Energize, and 2 gels, I could start running again. And I actually felt really good for like 3 miles. And so I was running, not as fast as I wanted to, because anytime I kind of strided out, I felt cramping again, and it was moving into both legs. So so the loops were like 3.4 miles or something like that. And there was only 2 aid stations each loop, and I was hoping there would be one more, because in between the aid stations I would start cramping again, and I didn't have anything else. I actually took an extra gel at an aid station and tried drinking it without water, because I've been using the Morton gels, but I like drink them like a pill, like I put them in my mouth and swallow it. And I tried to take it without the water, and I couldn't. My throat doesn't like swallow it because it's like jelly, and I just threw it back up, threw it up. It gagged me, and I threw it up. So then I had to wait till the next aid station. So in between aid stations for the first 2 loops, I was doing okay running. But by the 3rd loop, I was like seized up. Like every muscle group in my legs was cramping. So I lay down on the grass, and I was stretching, and it felt really good, but then I couldn't stand up off the grass, because if I tried to stand up like backwards, like as I would like push myself up, if I put weight forward, my quad would cramp. And then if I would like go on my hands and knees and try to like stand up backwards, my hamstring would cramp. If I put my leg in front of me and try to stand up, my hamstring, everything was cramping. I couldn't get off the ground. Some guy came by me, and he's like, do you need some salt? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I just took a bunch of gels. In hindsight, I should have grabbed the salt. In double hindsight, knowing more about what the nutrition was like on the course, I should have stuck to what I normally do, which is my Infinite drink. I was just trying to simplify things, and I was like, oh, they have Morton stuff on the course, and I really like the Morton stuff. I just didn't know it didn't have what I needed. So anyway, it was a walk, run, crawl. Finally, I did finish the run. I ran like the last 2 seconds through the finish line, but like leading up to the finish line, I couldn't even run. I was like kind of wobbling. And so I finished. My goal was an hour 40 for the run. And I ended up an hour 54 or something for the 11 miles. So way over my goal, but for how I felt, I was really glad I finished. And I found out later that I was actually still in first place until those last 3 miles, till that last loop, because, you know, when you stop on the ground for 5 minutes to try to stretch it out, you lose a lot of time. So I ended up second place, so I'm really happy with that, with everything that went down. Also in hindsight, I was thinking yesterday, I have been cramping a little bit, like in the middle of the night over the last few months. So I think I just have a magnesium deficiency. So I've ordered some magnesium. Hopefully we can nip that in the bud, because it was awful. I hated, like, I had so much energy and my mind wanted to run, and my body just was like, and it didn't. It couldn't move. So I haven't experienced that before, so it was really interesting. So I've been doing a lot of reading on cramping, and I think for me, I just need to add some magnesium into my body in general. So I ordered a capsule that has like 7 different types of magnesium. I'm going to start taking that regularly, so hopefully this won't happen again in any races. So afterwards, for athlete food, they did have a vegan option, so I'm giving that 2 thumbs up. I loved the race. I'm 100% doing it again next year with a little bit different training, a little bit different nutrition, because I want to redeem myself. It was my perfect type of course. It was just all hills. It was either up or down. I love that. It was amazing. The temperature was amazing. It was like 75 degrees, I think it got up to. So it felt hot when you're working, of course, but it wasn't anything crazy. It was really dry, which is okay too. I just think I needed a little bit more fluid. They had tons of water and ice on the run course, and they were giving bottles of water, which I like, even though like I know it's a lot of waste of plastic, but to have a whole bottle of water instead of just like a little cup was really, really nice. The volunteers were great. The race course was great. Everything, I thought the whole experience was a really good experience. And for my first T100 race, I would 1,000,000% do it again. They only have Las Vegas, and in the United States, they have one in Florida, but it's a shorter distance. So 100% doing it again next year. I'm totally going to crush my goal. So anyway, my goal was under 5 hours. And that was a pretty like conservative goal. Like if I like crushed every aspect of it, I probably could have got like 5:45 or 4:45 to 4:50. But I was like, oh, if I do pretty good, I'll get under 5 hours. But I didn't. I got 5:11, which again, with everything that went down, I'm really happy with. I ended up second in my age group, which I was thrilled with. And I'm 100% going back there again. So if you have any questions about the race, if you want to come back there with me next year, let me know. I think it'll be really, really, really fun. I'm probably going to stay at the same campground. It was super convenient. It was $20 a night, and it's $25 to get into the park, because it's in a park. It's in Meade State Park or whatever it's called. So $25, $35, $45, $50, $65 for 2 nights. Like, that's amazing. So yeah, if you have any questions about the race or anything, let me know, and I will see you guys next time. All right, bye.